So, attachment whores and value junkies. Yeah, it's that time again, Charlie. It's that time again. No, I haven't lost patience. It's just that time again. So why should enlightenment be the highest aspiration of a society above all else? Well, before we even delve into that, it should be pointed out that if this question even needs to be asked, then it's apparent that many of us have forgotten the bare-bone basics. And if the answer to this question is a testimony looked upon with scorn and ridicule, treated as if it must be provided as a demanded proof, thereby getting justified or invalidated by the great host of myopic judgmental clones, then it speaks volumes to the profoundly dismal state of consciousness and shows just how far it has fallen. Evidently content to be ground up in the jaws of ruin and death, and then spit out again, only to be recycled, then ground up and spit out again, over and over again, in a constant flux of delusion, spiraling in chaos between varying degrees of desperation and mental anxiety. A conundrum, indeed. How can one put down an anchor of stability and permanence on such transient, unstable grounds? You can't. That's the whole point. And it was never the mission in the first place. In a spiritual sense, the existential objective here is to use the limited time at your disposal to release consciousness's binding grasp on sensory illusion. Oh, you mean the objective here isn't a physical exercise? Who would have thought, huh? So many of us have completely forgotten the objective and have taken the perceptual bait to such a degree that you have become shameless attachment whores and unabashed value junkies. Rather than striving for the highest ideals and making illumination the top priority, instead, this life has become a game of trying to sustain delusion for as long as possible in order to indulge the ego and engorge it in a selfish spectacle of lust and gluttony. The mythical dance of self-interest. How profound. Oh, such a wonderful, saucer. It's such a wonderful saucer. Oh, such a wonderful saucer. Of course. First, the ego wants to be recognized as somebody. Then, the ego wants it to be recognized that it is somebody. Yeah, we get it. Modern society has become all about catering to the ego and its appetites, and giving it all kinds of ideas that it has claims to space and inventory therein. It's very arrogant. And just so you know, you can't take it with you. So basically, you came into this existence with nothing, and you are leaving with exactly the same thing, with nothing. So then, maybe this is all about posterity? You want to leave a mark, right? You want to really contribute something magnificent as a testament to your specialness, right? Yeah, Thanks for leaving a stain, but no worries. Thankfully, it will be washed away post-haste. And yeah, I know that this is gonna come as unwelcome words to many of you, but you know what? That doesn't even matter. Thank goodness. What? The ego's feelings are hurt? Well, who cares about what an offended ego thinks? It's not even a concern. Just thank goodness that no ego gets out of here alive. And that everything an ego constructs will eventually be completely washed away in the sands of time. Well, come on now, Sage. Hey, take it easy. Surely you don't mean everything, right? Yeah, everything. The only non-things that might endure would be constructs of pure spirit. And luckily, the manifested ego and its abomination of physical embodiment can never lay a slimy finger on any of that. Only an ego despairs at the implications of the zero sum. Enlightened awareness is unmoved by it. But it's no surprise, as that's what the ego is good at, is it not? Grabbing, grasping, holding, and clutching. And then getting upset when it has to let go. Oh. This is why the truly wise don't get invested. Not to say that they would never partake. They just don't get disturbed when it's time to let go. Only the addict does that. Hence the primary explanation for almost all discordant and aggressive behavior. Some ego is going through withdrawal from an attachment. And don't expect any sympathy for it either. Good students don't get hung up on the materials of instruction. Good students don't invest in setting up camp on transient foundations. Now, some of you may feel that I'm being a bit cynical and sardonic with the tone of this video. But seriously, to tell you the truth, it's actually really disheartening to see so many of you wallowing unproductively in what's supposed to be a training ground, fighting each other for the right to hoard value and resources, as if any of these things belong to you. This is mine, and that is his, and this is theirs, and that is yours. Attachment whores. Hate to break it to you, but I got some bad news for you. There's not a single thing in this realm that you can claim as yours. Not a single shred of anything. Yet you act as if you can. You are merely borrowing it, at best. And most of you can't be trusted to do even that without getting hung up on it, and then bitching and moaning about it. And listening to it turns the stomach. I mean, really, it's enough to put you off your food. And what makes it even worse is all your self-important pride, which is far much worse than the most horrible case of stinky wet flatulence from the infected disease-ridden bowels of a dying hippopotamus with gangrene. You just can't get enough of erecting monuments to yourself, can you? You just love contriving circumstances where you can heap praise upon yourself, give yourself lots of unwarranted awards, and then pat yourself on the back and then tell yourself and anyone else who will listen just how fucking wonderful you are. How admirable. And then there are the moral crusaders, the champions of maintaining important morals and traditions, even if it means holding you down in place and forcing it down your throat. Isn't that something? What would we ever do without them? There's nothing like a self-elected hero who wants to save you against your will by banging you over the head with the wrong kind of help, all in an attempt to soothe his own insecure sense of self via his intrusive imposition. We can never get enough of these types of guys, can we? Value junkies. Even more delusional saps who think that this is an appropriate place to assign hopes and dreams and long-term investments. We have to stand up for this or that. We have to struggle to preserve that or this. We must strive to become one thing or another. Yup. Only I guess you forgot the timer on your existence is quickly running out. Your body is soon going to be rotting. And yet you run around like a chicken with its head cut off, frantically pursuing all this inconsequential crap. As if there was something else to do here, besides train your mind and reach enlightenment. It's a complete joke. Oh no, enlightenment? Oh man, that's evil, isn't it? Clarity is satanic, right? The all-seeing eye, the pyramids. I mean, what about the Illuminati? You are a fucking idiot. What is that? The great safeguard against the truth for the moronic imbecile? The idiot's guide to always staying delusional? No. By my reckoning, it's time to kick some ass. And that has already begun for some time. But I'm just letting you know now. It's happening. Just in case you were wondering. So as of this point, I'm putting the attachment whores and value junkies on notice. It's time to redirect your focus back onto what matters. If not, you will be dealt with a swift and heavy hand. But Sage, what matters is subjective, isn't it? Keep playing word games. Why not take the intellect that you fancy yourself having so much of and use it for something worthwhile for a change? Or else we're going to have to find a different way to settle it. So remember, those that flow with the will, flow with the will. Those that push against the will get slapped down. Yeah, Charlie. Interrupt me, Charlie. Fuck it. Oh well. Nothing I can do about that. I can't stop it, you know. I can't, go over there and tell firemen to... All right, Charlie.